Okay, so we're doing quiz corrections. So take out a separate piece of paper. Unless they said you could do corrections on the test, in which case do your corrections on the test. Anything you see written down, you should write down as well. Including this sentence right here. Mr. Ellis is the best math teacher I never had. If you don't include that, you don't get any points. That's facts right there. Okay. Number 1, right triangle to the sides is shown in the diagram, which measures closest value of x. So anytime you see a right triangle and you want to find the missing side, it's always, let's pick a better color here. It's the exact same color. Let's erase and try that again. So the formula, one more time, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And the key here is that the side opposite the right angle always has to be c. Okay? So we can call this side a, we can call this side b. You can switch those two around. A and b are interchangeable. So we're looking at 5 squared plus, we don't know what b is, that's x squared equals 15 squared. So if you're using your calculator, you can then use nsolve, put all that into your calculator, and you'll get your answer. Now, if you don't have a fancy calculator, we can simplify this down. We want to get b by itself, so we subtract 5 squared from both sides. So we're left with is b squared equals 15 squared minus 5 squared, or b equals the square root of 15 squared minus 5 squared. Then we put that in a regular calculator. So if we do 15 squared minus 5 squared is 200. And then if I take the square root of 200, whoops, a little wider, we get 14.14, which is answer B. There you go. Okay, so anytime you see right triangles, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared, and then you just solve. Okay? We got a couple more of these later on, so if you didn't get it that time, we'll get it next time. All right, second one, David deposited interest in an account that earns simple interest. Whoops, it's not a good line. Let's just do undo. Okay. So simple interest for 7 years. How much interest did he earn? So we know simple interest. So that formula is I equals P R T, where P is the principal or the money, which is 4,300, times R is the interest rate as a decimal. So 5% is 0.05. And T is the time measured in years, which in this case is 7. And if we multiply all that together, we will get the interest earned. So we go back to our calculator. We just do 4,300 times 0.05 times 7. We get $1,505. Okay. Now, what if they asked a different question, just for goofs? What if they said, what was his total money earned? So this is just the extra money. So he put this money in the bank for 7 years and he made $1,500. But he still has $4,300 that he started with. So if we wanted to know like the grand total, how much money does he have after 7 years? If we add back that $4,300, and we get $5,805, which is this answer here. So this isn't correct for this question, but if they change the wording of the question, this could be right. Okay, and then these ones, these are just nonsense. This is just bad math. Okay, moving on. Number 3, which function is represented by this graph? So I need a slope and a y-intercept. So if I start with the y-intercept, we're across the y-axis at +5, positive 5. So I see that on answers B and D. So I can get rid of these. And then looking at my remaining answers, I've got a negative slope and a positive slope. And since this line is going uphill, I know this is a positive slope, and the answer is D. But because we're showing our work here, to find slope, we pick 2 points. We already have our y-intercept as 1. And then we have this point here. So then we look at the rise and the run, is m equals rise over run, which in this case is 2 over 3. And there again is our 2/3. Not too bad. I heard y'all did pretty well on that question, so that's good. All right, number 4. Diagram shows 3 squares joined at vertices to form a right triangle. What is the area of square L? So again, this is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Then they mix it up. Instead of looking for just the side length, we want the whole area. So we actually want to know what c squared is. So I can say this is going to be c squared, this is a squared, and this is b squared. So on A, we only have the side length, so we have 6 and then whatever 6 squared is, plus B, they already gave us the area, so that's just 64 equals c squared. So if I say 6 times 6 is 36 plus 64, it's going to give us our answer. So then, in case you don't believe me, if we put in 36 plus 64, we get c squared equals 100, which is this answer right here. Okay? So if they give you a model like this, you're not looking for the side length, you're looking for the whole area, which means you don't have to take the square root. And that's all. Same idea though, still a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, this question. I hate these questions. Relation contains points, all 5 of those. Which statement correctly describes this relation? So first we want to know, is this a function, yes or no? So function means x does not repeat. That's how we know if it's a function. So if I look at my x values, -1, 0, -2, 3, 4, does x repeat? No, it does not, which means it is a function. So it represents y as a function of x. We can get rid of these ones that say it does not. Okay. And then we're looking for something that explains x is not repeating. So our 2 explanations we have, each value of x is associated with a single value of y. That sounds pretty good, right? Every x gets its own answer, which means x doesn't repeat. I like that. Our second one, because one value of y is associated with 2 values of x. This doesn't make any sense at all. If you see any answer that says it is a function because there's 2 of something, that's not it. That's not what we're looking for. Okay? Every x gets its own y. That's like definition of a function. The bad definition. The good definition is x doesn't repeat. All right, number 6. Which list shows orders, or which list shows the runners in order from fastest to slowest? So the trick here, if you never went to gym class, fastest time is the quickest time. So we actually want to order these from least to greatest. Okay? So they all start with 15 seconds. So I don't even care about the whole number part. I'm just looking at what comes to the right of it. So since I have a couple fractions, I'm going to start off and I'm going to convert these fractions to decimals. So if I do 3 divided by 8, and I get 0.375, or 15 point, I'm going to round it off. I've got 2 decimal places here, so I'm going to round this to 2 decimal places. So 0.38, and then I'm going to do 3/7, so 3 divided by 7 is 0.42. This is 15.42. And then I don't need this anymore. So now I just want to go from least to greatest. So which of my 4 decimals is the smallest? Well, that's 35. That's Ella. Then the second smallest is Joe at 38. And then we got Steven at 42. Then Pat at 44. And then I just look for this list in my answers. So Ella, Joe, Steven, Pat is answer B. Piece of cake. All right, let's keep going. Try to get this out of the way. I don't need my calculator for this. ABC transform to create ABC prime. Which rule describes this transformation? All right, so look at my two pictures. They're both the same size. It's on a different side of the axis, but if I look, they're both facing the same way. Point S is the one farthest to the left. Point T is the one farthest to the right. So it didn't reflect, it just moved over. It just slid to the right. So that's a translation, so I know it's just going to be plus or minus. So it's not going to be D. And it's going, since it's going to the right, we say X is increasing. So we're looking for X plus something. So we have Y plus something, that's not it. X minus something, that's not it. So the only one left is C, X plus 10. We can check that if we just count from T to new T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sure enough, it's 10 spots to the right. If I picked R or S, could also count 10 to the right, and we'd end up at our new point. So that's it. Not too bad. Halfway through. All right, what's the y-intercept as the graph of this linear function? All right, so y-intercept we said it's just where it crosses the y-axis. Y doesn't change colors unless I press it twice. Okay, so the answer is -4. And I heard a lot of you got -4, like you knew that was it, but then you bubbled it wrong. Okay, so here's the trick. So -4 decimal point. This is what our answer to look like. So here's our decimal point. So the 4 has to be right up next to it. Okay? Doesn't matter where else you put it. If you put it in any spot other than right there, if I put it here, well, let's get rid of this. Hold on, that might get confusing. Let's get rid of this dot. I don't know where that E came from. How confusing. Okay. So right here, this is good. Right here, that's bad. Right here, that's bad. Right here, that's bad. Right here, that's very bad. Right here, that's the worst place you could possibly put it. Here's our answer. Okay? And then we don't forget that it's negative. I can hear some of you screaming at me that I didn't bubble in my negative yet. Negative. Is it okay that there's 3 blank spaces here? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All that matters is that you put the sign, if it's negative, and that whatever the first whole number value is, has to be right to the left of the decimal. Okay? If you do that, you get it right every time. Okay, cool. Pentagon is reflected on the x-axis to form a new pentagon. What is the rule for this? Okay. So I'm going to ignore the pentagon because it doesn't really matter what the shape is. I'm going to find my x-axis. Okay, that's not quite the x-axis. Let's see if I can't fix my line here. It's been a while since I've done this. I forgot how to draw straight lines. Yeah, that looks pretty perfect right there. Okay, cool. And if you notice, all of our answers start with x comma y. So I'm just going to pick a point where x and y are both positive. That's up here in quadrant 1. This is positive, positive. So let's pick this point here. This is point 5, comma 3. That looks like a -3. Let's try that again. Whoops, erase the whole thing. 5, 3. Okay? And if I reflect it over the x-axis, it means it's going to go from above the line to below the line. So 1, 2, 3 above. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3 below. So this is now 5, -3. So what changed? X is still the same. So X moved to X, but Y went from +3 to -3. So we have the opposite of Y. So that's X -Y, which is answer B. And that's it. Okay? So if you ever get stuck on this, just draw or highlight the axis you're going across, pick a point, look at the coordinates, and see what changed. Okay? That's it. All right, what value of x makes this equation true? So again, if you have your calculator, could have just done n solve all this noise, comma x, put it in, you get an answer. If you don't have one of those handy, we want to put all the x's together, all the numbers together. I want my x to be positive, so I'm going to get rid of this minus 8.5x. I'm going to do plus 8.5x to both sides. And it doesn't matter which way you go. I just like to keep my x's positive, because you don't want negative x's hanging around. Alright, so minus 15 is what's left over. 2.5 plus 8.5, that's 11x plus 18. Okay, now it's just a matter of solving for x. So I want to get everything away from x. I'm going to start by getting rid of minus 8 from both sides. Oh, this is 18. That's my bad. My bad. Hold on. 18. Sorry. I was wondering why this didn't look right. There we go. Minus 18. That was close. All right, these 18s are going to cancel out. I've got 11x over here. Negative 15 and negative 18, since they're both negative, it's going to stay negative. And then very last step, I want to get rid of this times 11. So I'm going to divide both by 11. This is going to cancel out. 33 divided by 11 is negative 3. Nothing to it. If you have nsolve, makes it a little bit easier if you don't like doing algebra. Alright, 11. Slope and intercept is a given table. So y-intercept, that's the easy one, is where x equals 0. And that's given to us. So when x is 0, y is 1,000. So our y-intercept is 1,000. And we're halfway to our answer. And then our slope is our rate of change. So if we look, this is going plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. And this is going down 25, down 25, down 25. So slope is change in y over change in x. So the change in y we said was negative 25 over the change in x, which is positive 5. And then if we simplify that, negative 25 divided by 5 is just negative 5, which is c. And let's write down that's what slope is, in case you weren't paying attention. Okay, 3 more to go. Almost done. We're going to do this in 20 minutes. Pinky promise. Polygon dilated to create a smaller polygon. This is a reduction, which means we want to multiply by a number. It's number, oh, that's an E, less than 1. So we look at our answers. We can get rid of the one that's not multiplying at all, because that's just not a dilation. And then we just want to pick which of these 3 is being multiplied by something less than 1. Well, 3 halves is 1.5. That's not it. 1.2 isn't less than 1. If we have 2/3, which is 0.6 repeating, that's our go-to. There we go. Not too bad. All right, 13. Water hose discharges water rate of 45 gallons per minute. Which graph has a slope that best represents this rate? So if it's 45 gallons per minute, so after 1 minute, we should be at 45 gallons. And if we look, all of our keys are the same. Time is on X, water and gallons is on Y. So all we're looking for is the point 145. So here it is, 145, 145, 145, 145. And then we pick the graph where that is actually on the line, which is
D.
D. Good job. You're gonna pass 8th grade math this year. Alright, last one. John makes a wooden picture frame in the shape of a rectangle with a diagonal on the back. Shown in the diagram, what's the length of the diagonal brace? So even though this is a rectangle, really the shape we care about is this right triangle on the inside of it. Perfectly drawn. And we know from the very first question, if we have right triangles, our formula is a squared plus
b squared equals c squared.
Look at you go, 2 for 2. And we said C is always opposite the right angle. So that's what we're solving for. So we can call A 24, we can call B 36. So we've got 24 squared. Oof, that's not a very good squared. Let's try that again. 24 squared plus 36 squared equals C squared. So one last time, if you have your calculator, you can put NSolve, all that, comma C at the end, and be done. Otherwise, and we can actually, since C's already by itself, we can just do 24 squared. Let's bring my calculator down. 24 squared plus 36 squared. We get 1296. So the square root of whatever 1296 is going to be our answer. And then if we put that in the calculator, we get no, wait, what? What just happened? That's not right. Hold on. Let's try that again. 24 squared plus 36 squared. All right. Oh, I didn't press. Ha. I forgot how this calculator works. Sorry. Hold on. Let's go back in time. Forget that ever happened. This was supposed to say the square root of 1872. Sorry. And then we take the square root of that. And we get C is about 43.2. We look at our answer choices, and there it is. And that's 100 on a test right there. All right, good job. Thanks for watching. Have a good whatever time of day it is right now. Okay, bye.